the new show is called The Old Man and the Pool.
Yeah.
And I was lucky to see one of the first previews of it.
Yeah. It's all work in progress, and I'm going to Berkeley in January for 3 weeks. It's like, you know, the first stretch of shows. I'm doing like 21 performances in January. I'm really excited.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's wild, right?
Yeah, you can just like relocate. That's the first time really doing this since COVID and all this stuff. I mean, Cal, are you excited for this?
My sister Patty lives in the Bay Area, and so it was actually the first place when I started out as a road comic that I wanted to perform was in the Bay Area so I could visit my sister Patty. Just like a sweet thing, you know? And the problem with getting booked there when you're starting out is that there's tons of great local comics, and so they don't really want you. Like generally, they're like, we're good. And I'm like, yeah, I'll come. And they're like, no,
we're fine. Yeah,
we have comedians, you know. And you know, because I was starting out, I was like an opener, and the guy, this guy Jeff, who owns the club, he goes like, you can work for a week in San Francisco, but then you have to work for my club for a week in Sacramento with no hotel, which in show business is like kind of hard to not have a hotel because you don't live in Sacramento. Like I don't live in Sacramento.
Yeah,
so
how are you gonna do?
What am I gonna do? So I stayed on my sister Patty's couch in San Francisco, and then I commuted 100 miles every day to Sacramento for a week. And
that's commitment right there.
Right, and so but the reason why I really remember it is that I was backstage at the Sacramento Punchline, and someone offered me marijuana, and I don't use substances before I perform. I never had. And I go, well, what's the worst thing that can happen? And I'll tell you what it was. So what it was, because I'm like the person who, like when you smoke pot, I'm like the least fun person to smoke pot with. I'm the guy who's always like, do you guys hate me? Like, why does my heart hurt? Do I have rickets? Like, I'm that guy. And so I took one drag, walked on stage. I forgot my act, forgot my name, and I forgot that I was a comedian.
Wow.
So I'll act it out. The cameras can.
Yeah.
So I'm up there. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. Actually, no, that's good.
All right. So
please welcome. Oh, yeah.
All right. Please welcome Mike Birbiglia.
Oh, I'll do it. Wait, can I do it over here? Yeah. We got it.
Yeah. Please welcome
So,
Mike Birbiglia.
Hey. For 30 seconds. For 30 seconds. Hey. Please welcome your headliner, Tom Rose.
Oh my God.
No act. I had no jokes. I told no jokes. I was supposed to be on for 20 minutes. I did 30 seconds of standing there, and I never used a substance before walking on stage ever again. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good lesson to learn. Yeah, and
right? And then I stayed at a motel. That night, I used my paycheck from the entire week to put myself up in a Sacramento hotel.
Oh my God. So you ended up doing that. Where are you staying now?
I'm staying. Oh man. Last time I went to Berkeley, the last show I did was called The New One, which is across the street on Broadway.
I love the New
Court
One.
Theater. Thanks.
Yes.
And it's so nostalgic to be here. Yeah, because it was right around Christmas, like 3 years ago. And I did it at Berkeley Repertory Theater, which is where I'm going. And I stayed in Airbnb, which I find to be a dishonest acronym. No breakfast. Still waiting on the breakfast.
Yeah. Bed, sure, yeah.
Airbnb,
yeah.
We live nearby. and so we stayed at Airbnb. It was my wife, Jen, and our daughter, Una, who was 3 at the time. And then we loved it. It was like this pristine place. But then we realized for the first time that we're not pristine people.
No.
I think we're messy people because afterwards we messaged them. We're like, we'd love to stay here again. The owners of the B&B, and then they were like, you should visit the city again. I was like, at your apartment, and they're like, we wish you well in your life. You know what I mean? Like, I was like,
wish you well in your life.
It was like, we wish our life was at your apartment, and they were like, we wish to never see you again. And then so this time I'm staying at a hotel.
You're doing hotel.
Yeah.
Well, no, you had
in Sacramento. I mean, I'm commuting
to Berkeley all the way from. Yeah, you can't. You can't. Once you can't get too big, you gotta take yourself down. You gotta check yourself.
Yeah.
Before you wreck yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I want to talk about your podcast too, Working It Out, which is like I listened to maybe 2 podcasts.
Which ones?
Working It Out was one.
Working It Out.
Smartless, maybe.
Smartless is so good. You were great on Smartless. And I want you to come on my podcast. I keep texting you. I think, do I have the right number? Is 646? Okay. You want Jimmy to be on the podcast or not? You want Jimmy to be on the podcast or not? 646.
Don't give out my number.
No, this is how it works, right? You come on the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
And then you get the phone number, and then you text.
That's close to my number right there.
646.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. You have my number.
Last.
You have my number. We've texted.
All right.
I love your podcast because I haven't done stand-up in such a long time.
Yeah.
And
I'm pulling out jokes from the podcast because I work out jokes on the podcast.
I know, but I thought you were like reaching for weapons. I don't know what I thought you were doing, but you were doing this while I was going. Go. What, you're like, yeah, and what do you think of it, man? No, but I haven't done stand-up in so long that I love listening to it because it's you get a great comedian on and you talk about you tag tags or you talk about tags. So if you have a great joke, you go, yeah, that's good, or you could end it this way.
Yeah.
And then they go, yeah, or I can keep it the same way I just had it. I'm not gonna tag it all. And you get kind of in a nerdy fight, but it's funny. Pete Holmes is
Pete Holmes is great. Roy Wood Jr., John Mulaney.
John Mulaney's fantastic though. But
you texted me about Aisling Bea when she was on. She was really good.
So good. And I just love it. I just love how it's so interesting, but also so funny. And you go like, oh, I miss those days of talking to comedians and getting really into the nuance of a joke.
Here's some jokes I'm working
out.
These may or may not make it into the show. This is how the show works. I say jokes that aren't done.
Here we go.
I was at a cafe in Brooklyn, and there was this woman who said to her son, who's like 6 years old, she goes, Arrow, if I don't get my coffee soon, I will die literally. And I wanted to say to this woman, like, ma'am, like, I don't know if that's the best way to teach your son the meaning of the word literally. Because if he thinks that that's the meaning of the word, he might think he himself is an arrow. And if he is an arrow and he hugs you, you might die.
Literally, yeah, absolutely. That's a great joke. You might die literally. That's fantastic. That's a good.
Yeah. Oh, there we are.
That is so good. An arrow literally is so great. Yeah, that's a good one. I love that one.
I love that you were able to finish it. Wow, geez, maybe it's not that well written.
No, you know what's funny is our daughters are best friends.
Our daughters are friends and they both love jokes.
Yes.
And my daughter always, one of the things about being a comedian that's fun is that you get to make up jokes for your child. My daughter's 6, your daughter's 8.
Yes.
And they love it, and it's great. And it's like, you're like, oh, I'm doing one thing right.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I love it.
One thing right. And so, like, we were reading a book the other night about penguins, and I just thought of it. I was like, Una, what does a penguin say to her parents when she's hungry? And she's like, what? And I'm like, what'll we have for dinner? And you don't have to, no, please, don't feel like you have to laugh. It's not for you.
Wow.
I write some jokes for you, and I write some jokes for my daughter. What you need to know as an audience is that it killed. She's like, what do we have for dinner?
What do we have for dinner? How do you do it?
Mind blown. Yeah. But so back to the grown-up jokes.
Okay.
I think.
Yes, of course.
Okay. So I'm at the cafe, and this guy walks in and he goes to the person. He goes, could I have a loaf of rosemary ciabatta? And his 8-year-old son goes, Dad, I don't want rosemary ciabatta. I want regular ciabatta. And I wanted to say to this kid, I want to be like, life is going to hand you all kinds of ciabatta. But if you want regular ciabatta, I think you gotta hold your ground.
Life is gonna hand you the whole different types of ciabatta. Oh
I
my
did the
God.
wrong one?
Oh
that's
my
right, what
gosh, darn it, Jesus.
Rosemary ciabatta. So then, people always go like, you know, you're not old, you know, and it's true. It's like I'm not old. I'm like middle age. I'm like 43. I'm halfway through my life. Not technically. Not everyone dies at 86, but no one's ever like 80 through 100. Those are the years.
Yeah.
They're like, I was 83. I reached for a grape, and I never walked again. That's 80 to 100.
Can I choose which one?
Yeah.
I like the blue one.
Okay. So I was in the back of an Uber, and the Uber is making a left turn onto the Manhattan Bridge, and he hit a pedestrian. What? But it's funny because she lived. She went down hard, but you know, she was like, "Rah!" And then she's like, "I'm good," you know, and because New Yorkers are resilient and often drunk, and but it was shocking in the back seat. I was like, "Rah!" And the second thing I thought was 1 star. 1 star.
That's how you do it. That is how you do it right there. That is the one. Mike Birbiglia, everybody. Check out Birbigs.com for tickets to the Old Man in the Pool. Hey, hey.